Is NewsNation Rush Hour. We start today with one of the most followed Senate races in all of America between Dr. Oz and John Fetterman in Pennsylvania. The Democratic candidate providing another update on his recovery after reports he was having trouble processing and answering questions, relying on a speech-to-text device for a recent interview. Fetterman's doctor issuing a letter which says the Pennsylvania lieutenant governor is recovering from his stroke well. He can work full duty in public office, but adding he occasionally will miss or be unable to process some words. Now, the big question, is this update enough to reassure voters? Correspondent Kelly Meyer is live in Washington with that, Kelly.
Well, Nicole, the question of John Fetterman's health has been hanging over the campaign since the Democratic primary, and now the Fetterman campaign has released a letter from his doctor saying that he is fit to serve. This letter is from a visit this past Friday at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. Fetterman's doctor, who is a primary care physician, not a neurologist, saying he is recovering well from his stroke. His doctor notes that Fetterman's speech was normal, but that he continues to exhibit symptoms of an auditory processing disorder or trouble processing the spoken word that could come across, his doctor says, as hearing difficulty. Adding words he will, quote, miss may seem like he doesn't hear the word, but it is actually not being processed properly. His doctor saying overall that Fetterman is well and he has no work restrictions and can work full duty in public office. The release today did not include a cognitive test or make Fetterman's doctors available to reporters. That's something some media outlets were requesting. And according to campaign finance records, the doctor has donated thousands of dollars to Democrats, including to Fetterman. And Fetterman suffered the stroke back in May, just days before the Pennsylvania primary. A stroke, Fetterman says, almost killed him. And since then, Fetterman's campaign stops have been limited as he recovered. Last week, he sat down for his first in-person on-air interview that showed Fetterman using live transcription to help with his auditory processing issues. Fetterman will be using closed captions on 2 monitors in next week's NewsNation debate. That was requested by Fetterman's team and approved by Oz's team weeks ago. Now, President Biden is set to join Fetterman on the campaign trail tomorrow in Philadelphia, but there will be no cameras inside that event. The White House saying this week the president sees Fetterman as, quote, an impressive individual that is capable of doing the job. Fetterman's health expected to be brought up at next week's debate. Nicole.
All right, Kelly, thank you for that. Let's bring in Michael Schnell, congressional reporter with our partners at The Hill. Michael, thanks for being with us. Now, for context, of course, we've seen presidents make their physicians available for press conferences. Do you think this letter is enough to satisfy skeptics?
Nicole, it's a good question and it's an important one, but I think only time will tell to see if skeptics accept this letter as enough. Of course, the letter was just released this morning, so Pennsylvania voters perhaps need some time to recognize that the letter was put out, read it for themselves, and decide how they feel about it. But I think it's worth noting that if we think back to over the summer when President Biden contracted COVID-19, his administration received some criticism for not making his physician available to answer questions. We received daily letters from his physician, but only the White House press secretary and the COVID-19 response coordinator was available to answer those questions that reporters had. It'll be interesting to see if Pennsylvania voters sort of treat this situation similar to how some people did back over the summer when President Biden had COVID.
All right, so Michael, is this a common move for a candidate at this level? He's running for U.S. Senate. Does he really have any obligation to release this information?
I think he does, Nicole, especially for the voters, right? We're talking about a Senate race. Senate terms are 6 years. That's not a small amount of time. So when voters go to the ballot box to cast their vote for Pennsylvania Senate, they want to make sure that they're casting it for the right person, someone they can trust and someone who they want to see in office. I think health records are a fair assessment to be considered during that decision-making process. I will note, though, John Fetterman has been fairly transparent throughout this entire medical situation. As Kelly mentioned at the top of the hour, he sat for an interview this month. He has been on the campaign trail talking to voters. And of course, there's next week's all-important debate, which Fetterman has agreed to and will be on stage for.
You know, and Michael, as you say, senators are elected to 6-year terms. Let's say Fetterman does win at some point during that term. Maybe his health renders him unable to fully serve out his term. What would the process look like to pick his replacement?
So if a vacancy opened up for one of Pennsylvania's Senate seats, that would go to the governor of the state. The governor would have the opportunity to appoint someone to fill out that term just until the next statewide general election. And then during that cycle, a special election would be held to elect someone to a full term. However, if the vacancy opens up close to a primary or general election, that would then be punted to the next cycle. And as we have this conversation, it's worth noting that right now there is a tight race for governor of Pennsylvania. That's between the Republican Doug Mastriano and the Democrat Josh Shapiro. Right before I came on air, I checked 538. Shapiro currently has an edge over Mastriano in the race. But again, very competitive seat that could have real implications throughout the state.
Yeah, lots of close races. All right, Michael, thank you. And thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.